Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, or good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brendan, and I've known Andrew since we went together at Intermediate 15 years ago, so it's been quite a long time. I don't really recall how I first met Andrew, but regardless of the beginnings of the relationship, I've somehow managed not to get rid of him so far, and find myself here 15 years later giving this speech. If only I could go back in time. However, all joking aside, I am honoured that he did choose me for this job, but I will get him back. He initially told me that I wouldn't have to say a speech. I was surprised, but I believed him. Take note of this, Kaylee. Andrew is good at lying and enjoys tricking people. I have seen him develop the skill over the years, so be careful. He's never malicious with it, and it's always for a laugh, but normally it's only him that's laughing. Maybe that's why I'm still friends with him. I can't honestly say I haven't helped him deceive others, but I know he enjoyed it more than I did. Now, over the years, Andrew and I have shared many of the same interests, all of which could be labelled as geeky. But that's okay. Being geeks, at least we weren't nerds. Video gaming, card games, role-playing, we've all dabbled in them. That's me and Andrew. Here's another tip that I've learned from our hobbies, Kaylee. However, I think you may already know this one. Andrew plays to win. He's a competitor. Here's some bad news for you, Andrew. You are married. You will no longer win all the time. If love is a battlefield, then you are a loser of that battle. Congratulations. Pointing this out makes me feel somewhat better about the whole best man thing. Now, I wasn't there when Kaylee first met Andrew, so I didn't really believe him when he said he'd met someone. As I mentioned before, he likes to trick people. But seeing is believing, and once I worked out that he hadn't paid someone to fool me in some elaborate scheme, I started to see the truth. He was in love. This man I thought of as a cold, heartless, winner-takes-all trickster, still a good mate, had been beaten by love. So here we all are, because Andrew lost versus love, which makes him a loser. The funny thing is that somehow I think he turned his loss into a win. So finally, here's 5 tips for Andrew for married life. First, your wife is always right. As I mentioned before, you are now married and you will no longer win, at least against Kaylee. 2, when in doubt, see rule 1. 3, you can never go wrong with flowers or chocolates. This is to balance out the fact that you can never be right in an argument or discussion. 4, here's where I started to run out of tips. I mean, why ask me? I've never been married. What would I know? But I guess one thing that's important is that if you're ever angry with each other, then stop and remember why you both fell in love in the first place. I guarantee you won't stay that angry with each other for that much longer. Finally, here's a quote from one of my favourite songs. There is no love in fear. So don't fear to share anything and everything with each other. By yourself, you're alone, but together, you and Kaylee can do anything. So that's all from me. I personally wish you all the best for the future together, and I'd like to ask everyone to be upstanding and toast the groom again. So the bride and groom, Andrew and Kaylee.
Andrew and Kaylee.